What's going down, Internet? Thor, Base Boy Banner, back with our NXT AEW review and reactions. We did our preview and predictions last week. We're back with our review and reactions this week. I am Thor, the NXT guy. Joined with me again,
Kyle, Knocked Out Films, representing AEW, I guess, in some ways.
Yep, definitely.
The AEW super fan.
You've had film shown on that program. You represent that channel.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
It's true. Well, it's just because NXT hasn't reached out.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Not like I've ever had anything on NXT, but I'm just the mainstream mark. So
you are the bigger fan of Undisputed Era. That is true.
Oh, all day. Where's the other one?
Yeah.
Those red shirts. Hold on, real quick before we get those red shirts. Oh, if anyone wants to send me a Christmas gift, hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as soon as they came out in those red shirts, I was like, well, our prediction of them breaking up probably isn't happening because they got new merch.
The red with the camo, it's like a dark camo and then a red insignia. It's so hot.
Yeah.
So hot. I need it. Okay. All right. So we're not here for that. All right. So we're gonna go AEW first, right?
Yep. AEW. Yeah. So we'll be reviewing.
All right.
We'll be reviewing Winter is Coming, AEW's kind of little TV special, and I mean it was a weekly episode of Dynamite, really, and then NXT Takeover War Games is what we'll finish it off with. It wasn't that I was underwhelmed by Winter is Coming, but it's like you've got to remember, like, the whole time I was like, well, this is a TV episode, it's gonna set up stuff. We're not going to get probably as crazy of a matches. Everything was really solid beginning to end, but, we didn't get anything crazy.
Really? Nothing crazy? Really? I've been wanting to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
So obviously we're not going to go right to the ending. We're not going to go right to the ending. What was the beginning? The beginning was Jericho and
the beginning
Kazarian,
was the Battle
right?
Royal.
Oh no, forgetful. But no, and we were both right? MGF and Orange Cassidy, fresh squeezed orange juice. They'll be going at it next week for the ring.
Yeah, I always forget, and in discussing with my roommate, we realized, like, oh yeah, Battle Royals and like multi-man matches don't count on your record, but the singles match next week, the one-on-one singles match will count on your record. So, the last two were MJF and Orange Cassidy. And, I was holding out hope a little bit for Hangman Page. I did
the Dark Order stuff, and they threw him back in, and
I was gonna say I loved the Dark Order stuff, especially because it was so kind of cheesy, but like just the right amount of fun.
Enough cheese level, not over the top on the cheese level.
And then we got a lot of storyline development in that Battle Royal. Like you said, the stuff with Hangman Page and the Dark Order. You got a kind of a tease between Matt Hardy and Private Party, not completely getting along. They finally just unleashed Miro, which was super cool to see. And he just went wild.
As the Battle Royals go, I mean, as AEW Battle Royals go, that was pretty decent start to the show. I was pleasantly surprised. I liked the ending. I liked the finish. I think that was smart to do that. I think that's a smart way to end it with those two. And still made everybody else you need to look good. And I thought they did it well. For sure.
Yep. And then we got into the next segment was Chris Jericho taking on Frankie Kazarian for the very first time.
Ever.
Yep. In a singles match. They've met twice in tag matches, but
hyphen in a singles match. No, okay. This was a good match. I mean, this was two old dudes, throwing down. And it was entertaining. It was good.
Yeah, it was one of the highest rated segments of the entire show, unsurprisingly. And it was a lot of fun. We got the MJF coming in to throw in the towel, but then Sammy Guevara stopping him. So we got some more tension there. And we're going to find out what happens next week when like the Inner Circle has an ultimatum of, if they're going to stay together or not.
Or if they're breaking up. Yeah, I mean, they had a little, they're coming apart at the seams, it seems. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's just a ruse. I don't think you break up Inner Circle yet. I think there's still tons of fertile ground for them to do stuff, so I don't see any sense in that. But I hope what they do will be fun. They've been hit or miss depending on your taste in wrestling pieces, I'll say, with like the Vega stuff you didn't love, the show tune stuff you did love. There's something for everybody, but we'll see what happens next week. Who won that match? Did
Jericho
Kazarian?
won. Jericho won with the Jericho Judas effect. Yep.
Yeah. And we both called Jericho for
that
one, right? As I remember. Right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So far we were doing pretty well with our predictions.
Things are going off the rails. Yeah.
Yep. I mean this next thing, because it was Layla Hirsch and Britt Baker next, correct?
Yes. Yes, it was. 100%.
Yeah. So that match was pretty good. Was like
I will say it was the match I paid the least amount of attention to.
Yes.
In my rewatching of, because obviously I didn't watch it. I've never watched. I don't watch things live. Those days are way past. But I watch things on repeat. And sometimes it's 4 a.m. feeding a baby, and sometimes it's 11 a.m. feeding a baby, and sometimes it's 2 a.m. feeding a baby. You never know what time it'll be or what I'll be doing.
Yep.
But so this match I definitely was in and out of. I know Britt had somebody with her who I was unfamiliar with.
That was Rebel from TNA, who Britt only calls Reba.
Right. Okay. So that match, there was nothing wrong with that match, but if you're not WWE or NXT, you have a women's division problem. You just do.
Yeah. Well,
you just do.
You do, unless what happens at the end of the show could bring a lot of possibilities to the women's division.
This is true. This is true. Now yes, and we'll get to that. Yeah, you're right. That could fix that.
Yeah. Yes. And also at the end, we had Thunder Rosa come out and beat up Britt Baker, to keep that feud and that storyline going, which is going to be interesting because Thunder Rosa has been really solid every single time she's been on Dynamite.
Okay. I'm not a big weekly Dynamite person. Actually, this is the most Dynamite I've watched since Dynamite probably started back a little bit over a year ago, right? I've tuned into a couple things, but to watch an entire show, this is definitely the first time since maybe last spring. I watched a whole show last spring, a couple of them. But since then I've been real in and out, and I mean that's of everything, right?
That's true.
And this one did keep this one kept my interest in a lot of the spots. But this match, like I said, there was nothing. I don't have anything negative to say about it, but I don't have anything oh my gosh, positive to memorable that I can even think of from watching it just a few days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as women's matches that we're going to talk about over the course of this show, it's the least interesting. You can say
that's not fair when the other
one's a War Games match.
10, 10. Yeah, that's just not even fair. But the rest of the show was highly entertaining because what came after that was the
Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin.
The tag team stuff, right?
Yep. Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin taking on.
I feel AEW was missing in Winter was coming was enough tag team action because AEW just doesn't have enough tag team flair for my liking. But no, this was good. This was a really good match. I wasn't familiar with those other two dudes, the what's his name, Powerhouse, and Slick Ricky or whatever the other dude's name was.
Yeah, Ricky Starks, who if you have not
his name is really Ricky Starks?
Yeah, it's Ricky Starks, yeah.
And I said Slick Ricky? I was not
Ricky Starks is really good.
Okay.
So he was up until, when did he show up? I think he showed up like right as the pandemic was starting.
Okay.
But before that, he was working with NWA. And he was the television champion, and he actually had a very, very good 6-minute TV match with Nick Aldis
on Power. Okay.
But yeah, he's come in, and to me, he's the more interesting of the Team Taz members.
Yeah, no, I liked him. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, because
I liked him a lot. I enjoyed this match. This was Darby always shines, but yeah, he was much more entertaining than Powerhouse dude.
Yeah, and he's kind of even outshined Brian Cage in some aspects. But then Brian Cage, all he needs to do is really show up and flex and hit a 619 as a nearly 300-pounder. And you're just like, wow, that guy is, kind of impressive.
So athletic. Yeah. So look at the athleticism.
But as good as the match was.
Yeah, nobody cares about the match. It's all about what happened after the match.
Yeah.
The Sting.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone finally getting to yell for the first time that he was actually enthusiastic about it since like 1997. Right. He got to yell, "It's Sting!"
Yep, he did. Yeah. And when you saw Sting, and you saw the promo building, were you thinking Sting?
So I was watching it with my roommate and our neighbor Dustin, and we're all like, especially with all the Winter imagery and knowing Cody's involved, it's like, this isn't gonna be Glacier, is it?
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd literally fall out of my chair.
And then like the STING comes up, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. He is a free agent now. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like,
were you excited?
I was excited. I mean, I was more excited when I met him last year, but
were you excited at the potential of him wrestling in AEW?
No.
Or are you just excited at him being like a presence in AEW?
I want him to just be a presence and maybe occasionally do like a 6 or 8 man tag.
Like maybe he's like the conscience of AEW. Like he shows up and thwarts bad guys and does stuff and then disappears and all mysterious and stuff. Yeah. That would work.
That would work. Yep. That would work.
In that capacity, I would love it. Now I'm not going to be the WWE guy who's like, oh, I love Sting, because I wasn't a huge Sting guy when he came out in WWE. And I don't know if we were talking wrestling in those days, but I don't, I shoot it like I say it. And I wasn't a big fan of that, especially what they did to him. I just didn't care. I didn't care for that. And his matches, all his matches, his Mania match, the ones with Rollins, that dude's pretty much, his neck is like it's being held together by silly string and duct tape. And I don't know, it just, Sting, I think, should have never ever went to WWE, but that's a whole nother discussion. Him in AEW makes me super nervous about like him and Jericho, or like, and which Jericho teased, and I was like, oh God, please no. Like maybe, like you said, 20 years ago, but not in 2021. I don't want to see that. We have no need for that. Okay. I'm probably going to be just chastised for that, but whatever. But like you said, if he is the conscience, like a presence, an aura, like where he's a ghost, he's a mystery, he's, maybe even in like a leadership role, like a general manager, but something like that, cool. Anything outside of that, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I think ideally what will happen will be he sticks around long enough in that type of capacity to pass that role on to someone else.
Okay.
Be that be that Darby who, they're giving all these comparisons to.
They teased a little bit with the face and stuff like that. Yeah.
Or if that's Cody, or kind of a combination. Because that's why I said, like, I could see, especially since they did the 2-on-2 Team Taz, of like, we could get, Cody, Darby, and Sting taking on, Starks, Hobbs, and Cage. I
don't really want
to. No, because I don't. I like Brian Cage a lot. I don't want to see him in there with Sting.
No, Sting. No, I don't know. Okay. We'll just let that one go, because in the moment, hey, they got the moment. The moment was cool. Where it goes from there, who knows? It was cool in the moment. They definitely they got all the talk. They got all the buzz, after that. So I'll give, and for what happens at the end, but we'll get there. Because I have an opinion on what happens at the end. I actually really am curious to get your opinion on it, because yours is much more valid than mine is. But was it the last? Is it Moxley Omega already?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, do we want to talk about the two little backstage promos with the Young Bucks and the Acclaimed? Max Caster doing literally the worst rap of his career, which is sad considering it was his debut.
Age.
But it's like, oh,
I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
I didn't know who any of those guys were. I knew the Bucks were.
Yeah.
But I know anybody else was.
Okay.
And I was like, well, okay, this happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, that means something, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
And then what was the other backstage part?
The other backstage was the backstage interview with Hikaru Shida, talking about her match with Abaddon next week. I'm not super thrilled about that. Like, we haven't seen Abaddon on screen for a while because she got hurt. And I just don't know if storyline wise this will be as interesting as we hope,
Okay.
But
we'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't think we could probably need to talk about those backstage segments then. I think we can just slide right past them. So, Mox Omega. Mox Omega. Should I go first?
Yes, you go first.
I want to hear what you have to say. I thought this was a really good match. I think this is actually probably, from what I've seen, their best match in AEW. We'll talk about the finish separately. I'm just going to talk about the match right now, and then after you talk about it, we can talk about what the ramifications and the aftermath and stuff like that. But the match itself, start to finish, I thought they told a really good story. I thought they used the announcer storytelling, the in-ring storytelling, all to a perfect tee. Really, the desperation in Omega, his connection to Callis, why he was there, just JR and them, their love for Moxley and everything Moxley's gone through, and they built a really great story, and then they ended it in a really interesting way, I think, especially for where they're at, and especially for how new this company is. But to end the match on kind of a screwy finish, it didn't bother me because I'm not a hardcore, and I'm not like, oh my gosh, like I know it bothered some other people though. But yeah, so that's where I sit. I really liked it. I thought it was a decent show. Like you said, I wasn't overwhelmed. I was like, well, I'll be watching AEW Dynamite every week from here on out. But I was like, hey, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this more so than I have been, because I like what's going on, especially with the ending. I want to see what happens. But you tell me what your feels. What happened?
So the only thing that I can really say, like, the match itself was super solid. I did enjoy it, but I think I had too much anticipation for it and too much expectations, and it didn't quite get to that level to me, but I still thought it was really good. And then getting into the finish, I did like the fact, and a couple podcasts that I listened to had pointed out the fact that I like that it wasn't just like Down Callis is here, we're going to have an angle. We know that, because Don Callis has been there for a lot of Kenny Omega matches as of recently.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this isn't out of the realm of, like, this is so weird and out of left field that Don Callis would be there. But, now we know, like, as soon as he started to get into the match, I was like, oh, this is a little weird. Plus,
once he was hurt, I knew, and like once Kenny hit, which I think he did hit the ground weird, because I think he busted it. I think he actually hurt his orbital socket. It looked like he had did something to his eye. It might have just been a black eye, who knows? But he definitely something.
Yeah.
But when he had rushed down, I knew too. I was like, the fix is in.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fix is in. The fix is in. Kenny's about to do what you said, and he's about to turn for the gold. Instead of getting the gold and turning, he's gonna turn for it. And he took that, and he took the microphone, and he bought Mox, and boom, boom, boom.
Well, I
runs out with Callis.
Yeah,
and then they're getting in the car, and there's like, Kenny, tell us about it. And Callis is like, me and Kenny will tell you all about it Tuesday night. Oh, Dynamite's on Wednesday. Access TV, Impact, pew pew pew, guys. And then they, hop in and dip out.
Yeah.
So.
It was, I think part of it was the fact that I did have people over, so we weren't able to like listen to the commentary as intently, because we were just like, okay, what did he, like, they're clearly faking an injury, but I think it was something with, that was like the heater next to the ring, trying to keep the ring warm or something. That's what they were concerned about. And it's just like, it was a double arm DDT on the floor. Like, that's a big spot, but not like an injury big spot.
Right.
And then, Callis coming out, handing the microphone. But I did like the fact that it wasn't just microphone shot 1, 2, 3. It was
right. No.
It was microphone shot, 4 V triggers. 4 V triggers.
Yeah, 4 V triggers.
And a one-winged angel, which I almost half expected, like, because it hasn't happened yet in AEW, I half expected Moxley to kick out. And then Kenny...
That'll happen when he beats Kenny to be the first two-time, like you called, two-time AEW champion and the first person to ever kick out of the one-wing angel. I could see them doing that down the road. Second. Okay. So, first in AEW though, right?
Yeah. The only other person who's done it is Kota Ibushi.
Oh, Ibushi?
Yeah.
Really? I thought I was gonna say Okada.
It was Ibushi in one of their DDT matches.
That move has been so protected even in Japan. That's pretty cool. You don't see finishers that protected these days. But I like that. that. So now my thought was, okay, I understand now you got Impact and AEW potentially not merging but having a feud, right? Maybe going at it, a little brand supremacy, right? Is the AEW's been around for a little bit over a year, right?
Yep.
Coming up maybe on 2 years in spring, but Dynamite's only been on for just over a year. Yep. Is this too early? Is this jumping the shark a little? Is this too early to do this kind of crossover?
It will depend on the extent of the crossover. Like, if it's similar to their relationship currently, well, pre-pandemic with AAA, and it's just this, you'll occasionally see a AAA guy on Dynamite, and, Kenny will go down to AAA and resurrect the Mega Championship and then never defend it again.
I doubt that. I mean, with them having the AEW Championship on Impact, this feels deeper. This feels deeper than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and like we do have that. You do have the history as well between Omega and really both halves of the executive vice presidents for Impact Wrestling, because like Don Callis is the one executive, and Scott D'Amore, who is part of Team Canada, has also been a pretty big figure in Kenny Omega's career as well. Like, not as big as Callis, but
well, for Kenny to do it, like, get the, like, I like it. If this is him turning, and like I hope he comes out and he's just like, screw the Elite. Now I've heard something about maybe Bullet Club coming into all this.
Well, Impact is the home for Gallows and Anderson,
but they're not Bullet Club.
I mean, technically they're not, but
right.
It is an interesting landscape right now in pro wrestling, thanks to, everybody kind of went off to their own corners pre-pandemic, and I think because of the pandemic, like, you don't have as much talent out there, so people are sharing talent more often, like, coming up, you've got...
You mean the smaller promotions.
Yeah, because, like, coming up...
WWE's just cutting. WWE's literally trimming. They're trimming their roster down to, I wouldn't say bare bones, because they had probably too big of a roster to begin with pre-pandemic. But they're trimming down their roster pretty heavy now. And it looks like there's more cuts even coming. I think Jackson Riker is one of the ones I think is rumored to get cut here pretty soon. Not a huge surprise. Yeah. But so that's interesting. That's interesting that the smaller companies they're in such need of performers that they're almost out of necessity needing to combine and to have these feuds.
Yeah.
And then you could see some switch, maybe contractually in these, like maybe someone switches from AEW to Impact and vice versa, potentially. I mean, anything's up in the air right now because we don't know the to what lengths this deal is, if there's a deal, what it all constitutes. I'm sure that'll come out in the coming weeks, and then we can probably shoot another video and talk about it. I'd love to. But so it was a very interesting. So you didn't hate it, you didn't love it, you liked it.
I kind of liked it, and I like where it could, like, if this is going to be an inter-promotional feud, that could be really interesting. Like, you've got, people keep pointing out, like, the tag teams that, because, Impact doesn't have a ton of them that are super high profile, but, they do have...
Do the Briscoes still wrestle over in Impact? Or are they, where are the Briscoes? Ring of Honor.
Briscoes are Ring of Honor. But you do have, in Impact currently, you do have the Motor City Machine Guns. You do have Gallows and Anderson. You do have the North. And adding, even temporarily, those three teams, into the mix.
With FTR.
With FTR, everybody. And
Blade.
Yeah, and most importantly, I think if you're looking at a bigger landscape, to me, you've got really the second best women's division in the world in Impact Wrestling. And you get your Deonna Purrazzo's, Jordan Grace's, Kimberly's, Jessica Havoc's, Kira Hogan's, all...
Both companies will benefit with the women's division.
Yes.
And I think that's what we were alluding to earlier, right? Is like these two women's divisions on their own are, I mean, Impact's probably got the most impressive of the bunch, but literally it's like WWE, NXT, and NXT sometimes even flip-flop those two, but depending on the year. But those two are like here, and everybody else just kind of, trickles down from there. And this could help, rise both brands, I think.
Like the idea of like C Stars from Impact taking on Ivelisse and Diamante, just even as like just a one-off match. It's like, oh, that could be a lot of fun. But
and I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm not super familiar with any Impact wrestlers.
But it is. But so
it could be.
Yeah.
And it's all because of this deal. And that's what I think we're saying, is it could bring in, and that's what we talk about a lot of times with these smaller promotions, is it's not you that they have to entice to watch or to be excited. It's guys like me, right? Who are fringe. Like, I'm a hardcore wrestling fan. I've had New Japan World, so it's not like I'm like a just straight WWE guy. Now, most of that, my love for all these other indies is responsibility of yours truly. Thank you, sir. But I'm not just a WWE guy. So these smaller promotions, if they can hook me in, that's what they need to really grow, I think, more than they have, especially, coming out of pandemic, having these crossovers. ROH and New Japan already have a working relationships. New Japan USA was supposed to start up, and I think that all got really put on the back burner after pandemic stuff, because they're just back to trying to just do New Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is exciting. Like I said, to me, is it jumping the shark a little bit? Yes. Is it super early in the development of this company to not merge with another company, but to feud with another company? Yes. But do the potential gains outweigh the potential losses or setbacks to certain characters? 1,000 times yes. So therefore, I'm like, I'm gonna go with it, even though, like, I'm like, ooh, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm excited. So we'll switch over to the black and yellow.
Yep.
Black and yellow brand.
But one thing, for the people that are watching and are like, well, I don't have Access TV. Impact simulcasts on Twitch. So
now that they're back, now that they're not banned anymore.
Yep. Yeah, they're not banned on Twitch anymore. Thanks, Rob Van Dam.
That was just like a month.
Yeah.
Thanks RVD. Ruins it.
Well, I mean, really, it was thanks RVD's wife, but
that's true. Wives.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Oh yeah. All right. So over to NXT, where it's War Games, which is one of my favorite takeovers of the year. Obviously, I actually think this is probably. I'm just gonna get it out right now. I think this is probably the best takeover they've had this year. I liked it better than 31.
I
liked the 30. Halloween Havoc wasn't a takeover, and that was all right too. But out of the things I can remember from this year, I would say, yeah, because what was it? All American Bash, that was on TV over 2 nights.
Yeah, over 2 nights.
Yeah, I would say this War Games was my favorite pay-per-view, and it's not like the matches were crazy good. The beginning and the end were the 2 War Game matches were. The middle was, I'm not gonna say super vanilla, but it wasn't anything like super crazy.
Yeah.
But it was all good. It was all like good, borderline great, or in the case of like the strap match, better than it had any business being. Especially with the 2 people in it and how much I didn't care about that feud going in.
Yeah.
I can't even believe how much I liked that match coming out of it. And I'm sorry, Dexter Lumis is my new favorite NXT wrestler. He reminds me of Aleister Black, when Aleister Black was just like doing jobbers and like having his weird runs way back when he first started. Love it. I love what they're doing with that Dexter dude. I'm sorry, I do. I know you don't like him. I love that dude. I love what they're doing. I love his character, that steely, those eyes and stuff. It works. His goals, that dude's jacked.
We'll get to him, but we started out with the women's
War Games match. Shotzi's team, Shotzi, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and
Ember Moon.
Who's the last? And Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez.
Yep.
Did I nail that?
Yep.
Yeah, nailed it. Dakota Kai, Toni Storm, and
Candice LeRae.
Help me out. And Candice LeRae. Duh. Johnny Wrestling's wife. Candice Wrestling. Mrs. Wrestling.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a good match too. When they came out on a little tank and it actually shot in the beginning of the match, it actually fired a missile.
Yeah.
I like that. Nice touch. It hit the cage, but Candice, or whoever was in I think it was Dakota. Dakota was in the ring at the time. She made it really seem like her life was in danger when that foam missile hit the steel cage. So that was good stuff.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. I love that match. Io Shirai off the top with the garbage can over her head once it acts, because War Game matches, there's no point in talking about the War Games match until it actually starts, which is 45 minutes after the War Games match starts.
Yeah.
But and that was literally the start of the War Games match, was Io Shirai falling with the garbage can in there. Although she got attacked by some
Indy Hartwell.
I wasn't familiar with. Indy Hartwell, which I'm not familiar. Like I said, But yeah, so I really enjoyed this match. I thought it had, a of good spots. It had Io Shirai getting put through, or was it Io Shirai that got put through the ladders?
Yep. At the end. Yep.
Raquel Gonzalez. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're clearly setting up a Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai match.
She's not the one to take it off Io.
I don't think so. I mean, NXT is really behind her, but yeah, I don't know if she's the one to take it off. But a nice little touch, and as we were talking about beforehand, I'm literally reading the Young Bucks book right now, and I just got through the Guerrilla Warfare match from PWG. Okay. Between the Young Bucks and Candice LeRae and somebody else.
Okay.
And during that match, the Young Bucks hit Candice with the most lethal weapon they could find. They glued thumbtacks all around an Air Jordan and super kicked Candice in the face. So Candice had actually... I don't think she wore it in the ring, but she wore it in her entrance gear. It was a garter that had thumbtacks glued to it. Because she was like, if I'm going to war, this is how I'm going to war. And it's like nice little... Nice
touch.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Yep.
That's a nice touch. Yeah, that match, I love that match. I thought it was really good. I thought every woman got moments to shine. I thought every woman got... No one came out of there looking weak to me.
No.
And no one came out of there looking like not a threat. Yeah. And to me, it was like the women's division in NXT is back to being a strength again, because it wasn't for a while. And it was one of those things where like the women's matches were under impressing in takeovers, and they were building, right? But they were building. And I think last War Games, I think this was better than last War Games for me, for the women's one. Even though last War Games had like Dakota Kai turning on Tegan Nox, last War Games was pretty good too.
Yeah.
The women's War Games last year, but I think this one for me was, I think, a little bit better, and it was a great start to the show. Yeah. A great start to the show.
Yeah, I think last year's War Games ended up being the Rhea Ripley show.
Yeah.
And that was great. It's just now in hindsight it feels weird because of her losing to Charlotte later and all that, but like this one, I think, like you said, overall it felt kind of a little better, of like everybody got to showcase everything.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And then next was the strap match.
Dexter Lumis versus
Cameron Grimes,
right? Cameron Grimes. Gaines, whatever. Cameron Grimes. So Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes. It was a better match than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
I've hated this feud. It's been awful. Hopefully this can finally move past it. Dexter Lumis is a much better caricature artist than I ever would have thought. I mean, ever would have thought. Honestly, ever.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was better than it had any right to be. Yeah, I enjoyed Cameron Grimes more than I've enjoyed him the rest of his NXT run. And Dexter Lumis was actually, pretty decent. Like, I'm still not a fan, but I was at least like, all right, I can kind of see what people think, but I don't like it. Then we also had Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher in a straight up wrestling match.
Yeah. This is a fight.
Yeah.
It was just a fight. That was I would even... Timothy's ear was bleeding at the end. But Ciampa came out looking like a beastie with that mask that he had on. And I thought they were going to have Thatcher win it. Just because I don't know where Ciampa's at these days on the card and his position in the back and stuff like that. But definitely strong, because they had him take the victory, which I was actually surprised about. And in just a pretty much in a what JR would call a slobber knock.
Yeah.
Just a straight up brawl.
Yeah, and if you because I think they just added this to the WWE Network as part of their like best of progress stuff, or they'll probably add it soon. Timothy Thatcher and Walter had a match that was very similar to this, where they just beat each other up for 20 minutes. And yeah, it was good.
That sounds like something I would enjoy watching. That sounds like I would thoroughly enjoy watching.
And
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, and then we had the triple threat match for the North American Championship. Johnny Gargano taking on Damian Priest and Leon Ruff.
Best match of the night that didn't involve a steel cage definitely was this triple threat. They did tease, I think, Killian Cross coming back. Was that after this match?
That was right before this match.
Yeah, they had like a vulture on a wooden thing, and I guess that signifies.
Well, and the clock counting and him literally saying TikTok, which has been
okay. I missed that other part. I missed what you caught.
Yeah,
but I saw him comment on their Instagram post, so I figured, well, I guess that means he's coming back. So
yeah,
that's why
and we got a little Finn Balor one of him again reiterating his well, the cat's away, the mice will play, but the cat's back. You know,
my jaw's not broken anymore. I can wrestle again. I do miss him. He would have added something to this. An NXT title match would have definitely made this a much better War Games, but it was a really fun War Games. And the Gargano Priest Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff. This match was really fun. Him getting that put through that barricade, which was funny because then did you see when Leon Ruff got thrown through the barricade, a lady fell through another barricade that I think they were supposed to put somebody through at some point, but it fell over it just toppled and you could see the 2x4 work and stuff. I thought that was good. I like that.
That was my favorite part. That was hilarious because I was just like, my roommate had stepped out for that, and I was like, okay, so they just did the razor's edge power bomb into this barricade, and then somebody just tripped and fell over the other one, and it fell over the exact same way, and it's like, oh, that probably wasn't supposed to happen.
That was my favorite. That was so good. That was so good. And then we had a plethora of Scream characters show up, masked dudes.
Yeah, to which once Gargano won the match, I went upstairs to use the bathroom, and
oh really?
Yes, because
that was when the best part happened.
I mean, yeah.
It's me, Austin. It was me the whole time.
Okay, my roommate made the same joke, and he did it just deadpan enough that I was like, did they actually have him say that line?
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh, they did?
Oh, they did. Oh yeah, he said it.
Oh,
he said it. He pulls off the mask and he goes, "It's me, Austin. It was me the whole time, Austin." And I was dead.
Okay.
Dead right there. Austin Theory is the real man behind the Scream mask. I love it. I love Austin Theory. I've been wondering, because this dude's on Instagram all the time and just shredded, and I'm always like, where is Austin Theory? This dude looks the part. He's got the, he's got all the tools.
Yeah.
He has all the. I'm sure he's a D-bag.
Oh, he is. He is. Sure that's why I'm
straight a-hole.
Yeah.
I have no doubts in my mind that guy's an asshole. Excuse my language. You might have to believe me.
Yeah.
But I was excited to see him pull off the mask, and him and Gargano together make me happy. And I could see them as a tag champions. I could see them having a good old run together and doing some good things. So I was happy with it. So.
Like I said, I didn't see that part. So
you hate Austin Theory, don't you? I can tell.
He's in the same category as Velveteen Dream for the same reasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is Velveteen Dream? Never mind.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you after.
Okay, we'll talk later. I know I heard something happen, but I don't.
And then War Games.
There it is.
Yeah. Undisputed Era. Yeah.
Versus the McAfee crew, or what do they call themselves? The Brand? I don't know.
Yeah, they never really gave themselves a name, which was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, the Brand. So Pat McAfee, Danny Burke, Oni Lorcan, and Pete Dunne.
Yep.
Pete Dunne, big strong boy. It's boy with an I too, by the way. It's super funny. Those guys are hilarious. I love not Mustache Mountain. What do they call themselves? British Strong Style. Those three dudes. Another story, another day.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. But this match, I don't think this is one of the best War Games matches of the past few years since they brought War Games back, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And I give Pat McAfee hella cred for doing a swanton off the top of the cage.
And no one catching him.
Right? It looked like everyone just like parted. It looked like they looked like, F you, bro. Yeah. Done.
Which, I mean, I don't blame them because he's not a small guy, but still.
Yeah, he looked like he was hard on that. What? He was a kicker in the NFL, So I mean, whatever. He needs to prove he's tough.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, that was a good match though. I was glad the Undisputed Era won. I think this was a nice way. I think they're done in NXT. Actually, I do think they might stay together, but I could see them moving over. Yeah. I could see the new gear being Raw gear, or being like, I don't know if the red is a tease. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But I could see them moving over. I could see Rumble season coming up, Mania season coming up. I could see Undisputed Era going over. And I don't know. I just don't know what else do you have them do?
Yeah. That's the thing.
They've had all the matches. They've done everything. Defending their honor and proving that they're still the stuff against this new group was good. That was a good way to end it. But now that they have nothing. They have nothing left to do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's and like you kind of like if you move them to the main roster, you almost need to turn them heel again. So that they get to they get back to that pack of rabid dog style, beat downs.
I think they could do that easy. I think they could do that easy enough.
Yeah.
I think they could do that easy enough. I mean, who knows though? You know what? Once Vince gets his hands on, he'll screw him up somehow. Best thing running for 3 years in NXT or however long the Undisputed Era has been a thing in NXT, and it's the minute they hit the main roster, they're gonna be turned into dog trash.
Yeah. But like, I did like the little touches in this like every single time the McAfee team was about to have their guy go in, Pat McAfee was the one who was like, I'm going to go. And then everybody's like, nope, I'm going in first instead of you. I got this.
Yeah, no, that was good. I liked how they had like all the Undisputed Eras on tables, like all their names laid out on tables. And like, this was another match, like the first one too, where they really let each individual wrestler get their spot and have their shine, right? They like, everybody got to have their moment to shine, like Adam Cole came in just looking like a world killer when he got in last for the era and was just, beating people. Dunn got to look like just a bruiser, the bruiser weight when he was in the middle of the ring, slamming people and, in between the two rings and stuff like that, doing brutal things. And when they were manipulating, who was it? Was it
I think it was Kyle.
Was it him? Was it Dunn and it was Dunn and somebody else on Kyle, like wrenching him?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was Dunn. Yeah, it was like Dunn and Oni when they had the 2-on-1 at the first. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, in the beginning. Yeah, before it actually started, and then once it actually started, No, it was a really good match. Like I said, I don't think anything was over the top great, but there was nothing that was bad.
Yeah.
Nothing that I felt hold anything down, and I thought every performer on the entire card got to shine, which is rare. Nobody looked stupid, nobody looked bad, nobody looked foolish. Everybody looked good, even in defeat and those in victory, right? And like everything they did, I think made sense storyline wise for where they are, for where I'm picking up on where they were, right? From watching the video packages and understanding a little bit from watching the past couple weeks. But yeah, so like I said, for me, it was a really solid. It was a really solid takeover from start to finish, which is why I probably put it as like my favorite takeover of the year. And definitely of the two events, I enjoyed that one more. But man, AEW with Sting and the Impact crossover, man, they brought it too.
Yes, and Sting with now the fastest selling one day t-shirt
the t-shirts on Pro Wrestling
on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah. That's I gotta get that merch money. A little bit of scratch.
And hey, most of that's going to Sting. So.
Well, he needs it. He needs it. He needs it. So, all right, Thor, Baseball Banner, that's the channel. That's where you can find me, Instagram, YouTube, all over the place.
You can follow me at Knocked Out Films on Instagram, Twitter, and knockedoutentertainment.com.
We'll be back soon with something.
Yeah.
Until then, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, both channels, all that sort of stuff. Thank you. Deuces.